Okay, so when you think about your mouth, you probably think teeth, tongue, maybe that dental visit you've been putting off. But what if I told you that inside your mouth, right now, there's a bustling, hidden world, a microscopic metropolis that's just teeming with life, with conflict, and with drama? Today, we're going to explore the secret life of your oral microbiome.
Get a load of this number, over 700. Now, that's not a typo. Right now, you're hosting more than 700 distinct species of bacteria, fungi, and viruses. To put that in perspective, that's more species than there are birds in all of Europe. It's an incredibly diverse and, yeah, pretty crowded neighborhood in there.
In this whole community, we call it the oral microbiome. But I want you to really hang on to that last word on the slide, ecosystem. That is the key to everything. You have to think of your mouth less like a body part and more like a rainforest, a complex, balanced environment where all these different species cooperate and compete. And just like any ecosystem, when that balance gets thrown off, things can go very, very wrong. So to really understand this ecosystem, you've got to meet the residents. Let's get to know the main characters in this story, the microscopic heroes and, well, the villains that are constantly fighting for control inside your mouth. Now hold on, because this isn't some simple good versus evil story. Over on the left, you've got the peacekeepers. These are beneficial bacteria that work to keep everything stable and healthy. On the right, you've got the troublemakers. Now these guys aren't inherently evil. In a healthy mouth, they're just kind of hanging out in small numbers, kept in check by the peacekeepers. The problem starts when the balance tips, and these troublemakers, like Streptococcus mutans, the main culprit for cavities, or Porphyromonas gingivalis, a ringleader in gum disease, suddenly get the upper hand. So how does that even happen? How does a healthy, balanced ecosystem just collapse and give way to disease? Well, the answer starts with something we all know about, but maybe don't fully understand. We tend to think of plaque as just some random fuzzy gunk that builds up on our teeth, right? Wrong. That's not it at all. Plaque is what's called a biofilm. Think of it as a highly organized, intelligently built bacterial city, complete with communication channels and defensive walls. It's a strategic colonization, not just some random mess. And this city doesn't just pop up overnight. It's built in stages. First, a super thin protein layer forms on your teeth. Then, the first settlers, the early colonizers. They move in and attach. As they multiply, they start building the actual structure of the biofilm. This attracts the late colonizers, who are often the more dangerous species, until the whole thing thickens into a mature, thriving plaque metropolis. Okay, so we've got this bacterial city sitting on our teeth. But how does a structure like that actually drill a hole in our enamel? How does plaque become a cavity? The answer is all about chemistry. Let's look at this chart here. Normally, your mouth likes to be at a nice, neutral pH of about 7.0, but the moment you eat or drink something sugary, certain bacteria go to town on it, and their waste product is acid. And look what happens. The pH plummets down into the danger zone, below 5.5. That right there, that's the critical point where your tooth enamel literally starts to dissolve. And this is where the ecological collapse happens. That acid creates an environment that's basically toxic to your beneficial peacekeeper bacteria. They can't handle it, but guess who can? The main troublemaker behind cavities, S. mutans. This guy loves acid. So in this new acidic world, it doesn't just survive, it takes over. It produces even more acid, and this vicious cycle of destruction just picks up speed. So cavities are basically an acid problem. But there's another equally destructive collapse that can happen in your oral ecosystem. And this one has nothing to do with sugar and acid. This one is all about inflammation, and it's what leads to gum disease. To get your head around gum disease, you need to understand the idea of a keystone pathogen. It's like this. Imagine you introduce a single wolf pack into a national park. Even with just a few of them, the entire ecosystem starts to change. Well, in our mouths, a bacterium called P. gingivalis acts just like that wolf. Even in small numbers, it can manipulate your own immune system, causing inflammation that actually helps it and its harmful buddies thrive, all while destroying your gums and the bone that holds your teeth in place. So we've got cavities and gum disease. That's bad enough, right? But the story gets much, much bigger. Because the consequences of a messed up oral ecosystem, they don't just stay in the mouth. This local issue can go global, affecting your entire body. This is absolutely critical to understand. Your mouth is a gateway to the rest of your body. Harmful bacteria and the constant inflammation they cause can get into your bloodstream and travel everywhere. The science on this is now undeniable,
An unbalanced oral microbiome is significantly linked to heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, and even certain cancers. What happens in your mouth does not stay in your mouth.
Okay, I know, that's a lot of heavy, serious news. But here's the good part. You are not powerless in this story. Not at all. You can actively manage this ecosystem. So let's talk about how you can become a guardian of your oral microbiome.
This right here is probably the single most important takeaway. For decades, we were told the goal was to kill all the bacteria, to sterilize the mouth. We now know that's like trying to maintain a beautiful garden by just scorching the earth with a flamethrower every single day. The real goal is to support the good bacteria, keep the bad ones in check, and maintain a healthy, diverse, and balanced ecosystem.
So how do we do that? It's all about creating the right environment. On the left, you see the stuff that helps. A diet with lots of fiber, fruits, and veggies. Great brushing and flossing. Staying hydrated. On the right, you've got the disruptors. High sugar diets, constant snacking that keeps your mouth's pH low, and smoking, which is just a wrecking ball for oral balance. It's all about tilting the playing field in favor of your microbial allies.
And, beyond our daily habits, science is finally moving past that whole scorched earth idea. We're developing much smarter, much more targeted tools to help us maintain this crucial balance. The future of oral care looks a lot more like precision gardening. We're developing things like probiotics, which are like planting good seeds in your garden. We have prebiotics, which are like fertilizer for the good guys that are already there. And scientists are even creating therapies that can go in and precisely remove a single troublemaker, like a weed, without harming the rest of the garden. It's a much more elegant and, frankly, effective approach.
So, the next time you pick up your toothbrush or decide what to eat, I want you to remember this. Your mouth is a living world. It's a complex and vital ecosystem that you, and only you, have the power to shape. Every choice you make either cultivates that garden or it helps tear it down. The question is, which will you choose to be?